Welcome. Thank you for joining us here this morning on this beautiful broadcast we have. And it's sticking up. Okay, as you can see here by my header, I can only imagine. Now, what does that phrase, that little phrase, I can only imagine, say to you? You know, we all get messages of inspiration, from the unknown sources. We all get messages. Sometimes it's from a source that we would expect it to come from. Maybe it's a religious message that you get. Maybe it's from a religious person that you talk to, or that you're reading a book, or something like that. We get messages from unknown sources, known and unknown sources. The thing is, are we seeing the messages, or are we just ignoring them and just going on about our day? I ask you this because I'm going to ask you a question now. Have you ever had a dilemma about doing something? You have your doubts, yet you didn't take a moment to look closer at what it was. You don't take a moment. I mean, a simple little moment in time. Not a whole minute, just a moment to look closer at what it is, what it's going to benefit you or what it's not going to benefit. So when we can take a moment and look closer at our insight, at ourselves, at our heart, then you're going to find that those messages that you're getting from known and unknown sources are going to be sometimes in your best interest. I say this from the heart because this weekend I watched the movie. It's an older movie. It's been, out for quite a long time. And it's called I Can Only Imagine. And by the title, you wouldn't think, oh, it's a love story or, something like that. And actually, it's not a love story. It's a movie about, how many of you out there know the band Mercy Me? They are a kind of a religious rock band, and they've been out for a long time. And it is actually the story of the band itself, but it's also a story of Bart, who is the singer of the band, and what he went through as a child to get to the phase of his life to where he was singing. The guy had a beautiful voice. I mean, he has a great voice. So I just want to put this in here for you. And he never felt he could sing. He never felt he was very good. He was football. His family was football. So the story is that, hold on, I want to get a smiley face in here for you, because smiley faces make me happy. Yes, they do. Okay. The storyline is for Bart. His name is Bart. He's the head lead singer of the band Mercy Me. And actually, they are still together, and they're still recording today. As we speak, they're still together. And in watching this movie, I had briefly seen it when it first came out because I was working for the studios at the time. And when I first seen it, when it first came out, I really didn't give it a lot of thought. I just knew I had to promote it and get it out there and get it out for sale for people. So, and that was my only real focus in doing what the studios wanted me to do for that. So what I learned, though, when I sat back and I watched it this weekend, it's on Amazon. If you guys have Amazon Prime, it's on Amazon's channel. And it's called I Can Only Imagine. And there is a message in this movie. It is a great message. It is a message of the laws of attraction, of the laws of the universe. It is a message of a boy who is living in an abusive home with an abusive father, and the father was not good to him, and the boy had a lot of, as you can imagine, hate and resentment and all of that bottled up inside of him throughout his childhood growing up. So when you look at it that way, you're like, oh my gosh, okay, yeah, I don't like those movies or whatever, but there is a story here. There is a learning curve in this movie. And I actually sat and watched it, open mind, watching the storyline unfold. And as I was watching it, I could feel the emotions coming from this young man. And you know, at the time, when the first part of the movie, I had no idea it was this band, Mercy Me. You don't know about it until like 3/4 of the way through the movie where this is going. So in this storyline, he goes through so much turmoil. He goes through so many setbacks. He gets hurt and can't play football. That sends his dad off the deep end. Well, then he discovers that he can sing. And he's got a music teacher at school who pushes him to sing. So he sings, and he's good. So he goes on and graduates high school and the life story. I'm not going to give you his whole life story here, but the message is in this video about how you can overcome anything. You can overcome just by utilizing your talents. Well, this didn't end there for him because he ended up getting together with some other guys and singing, and they created a band, and they were producing, and they were getting some CDs out there, and people were buying them. They weren't as good as they could be. So they get a hold of this producer, manager type person, and it's actually Trace Adkins plays the part in the movie. It's not in real life. Trace Adkins isn't involved in this. It's just he's the producer in the movie. So when you look at it this way, and you look at how this is evolving, and how these people are coming together, when you look at how people come together for you, and you look at how people, and not just people, but different situations, different inspirations, different messages will come to you from out of nowhere, or they'll come to you from somewhere. It doesn't matter. It's going to come to you. So in this movie, and I was debating a little bit if I should relay this to you today or not. And then that voice, you know, that everybody has that little voice said, no, people need to hear this. So this is why you're getting this today. And the point of the movie is he goes through turmoil with this band. He's trying to get recognized. He's trying to get a label. The band needs a label to promote them, to get them to the big times. You have to have a label. And as I was watching this, and I was thinking, you know, because I worked for the music studios also, and I worked for them, and, oh, thank you. And as I was promoting the CDs for Mercy Me, not knowing in conjunction that the movie and the movie title, I can only imagine, were connected. I had not put those two together. Isn't that crazy? I know, it's crazy. I did not put the two together until I watched this movie. And then it all came back from those years of working for the entertainment center, the entertainment thing, that I was promoting and pushing out the CDs and the video. And they were two totally separate units and two totally separate platforms. But when I watched this, it came out and it was like my brain clicked and went, oh my gosh, these are the same. They are the same. So look at what you're doing, and you're going to find that different things are going to come up, they're going to come about. So what happened with Bart, and I suggest you watch this movie even if it only takes a little bit to get it to, you know, load up or whatever in your system. But watch this movie, because in going through his life, there's a whole other storyline involved in that, and I'll save that for the movie. I don't want to ruin it for you, and I don't want to give you any spoiler alerts. So I just want to say he ends up coming to terms with the trauma of his childhood and his dad. And he learns that this trauma was holding him back. The trauma from the abuse he suffered from his father held him back. He still sang and he was beautiful, but he wasn't singing from the heart. He wasn't letting it come from the heart and people could feel it and see it and touch it and be with him with that. So when you do, and you're going to see in this, you're going to see where maybe this could reflect, even if you didn't come from an abusive family, which I hope you didn't. If you did, you may be able to see that when you can release this anger and this resentment, which is justified, don't get me wrong, but when you can release that from your from your child self, knowing that, you know what, I was a child, I had no way of defending myself, I had no way against this, I had no way to do that. Even if you cannot forgive that person, forgive yourself that you could not control what was happening. And, you know, in this situation, it showed us how beliefs, which we call limiting beliefs, they're all different kinds of beliefs, can hold us back from our true inner potential. They could hold us back from the success that we could have if we let it all come forward. So I suggest and I recommend everyone, it's an older show, it's called I Can Only Imagine, but in the show, Bart comes to terms with who he is. He comes to terms with dealing with his dad, and he finds that what in his absence, with him being gone, I won't tell you the whole thing here, but his dad finds Jesus. His dad becomes religious. His dad finds Jesus. And that puts a whole new shine on their relationship and what they're doing. So when you can do that, you can open your heart up to let your own self shine through. He became amazing. If you have not heard the band Mercy Me, like I said, they have CDs out. And I suggest if you can listen to one of their earlier CDs that they put out, and then one of their later CDs, you will feel the difference in the vibration, in the tone of the music coming out. It's amazing. It is amazing. And this is one of those things where I encourage everyone out there, if you watch a movie like that, you will be surprised the movies that will have a hidden message in there. And no, they did not intend for it to be a hidden message when they created the movie. It just was part of the storyline. And it wasn't talked about and hasn't been talked about. But it's there. And you can see it. And not just that, guys, you can feel it. So this may or may not help you. It may or may not enlighten you. It may not inspire you. All I can say is, you know what? It was an eye-opener for me because I watched this, I took it in, I absorbed it, and I felt I promoted this. I promoted the CDs, and not knowing that they were together, if I would have known that they were connected, if the label would have said this is connected with this, and the movie studio would have said this is connected with this, I could have merchandised them together and made a boatload more money for the companies. Because when you have something that's connected like that and it is inspirational, even people who aren't inspired so much will attract to that because it's a story of life and evolving. And who doesn't like to learn from that? So I thought about that this weekend when I was doing. I thought, wow, you know, that was a marketing tip that both platforms dropped by not saying, you know, these two are connected. What do you think you can do with this? I had so many ideas running through my head over the weekend going, I would have done this and this and this, and I would have made XYZ dollars, and it would have been good for so many people because they would have got this message. And that's what it's about. It's about the message you can help other people to get. So, it's a movie. It is on Amazon. And it's called I Can Only Imagine. And it's kind of slow going. And it's slow in parts. I encourage you to stay open and go with it. Be a part of that movie. Be a part of what's going on. And you'll find there will maybe be an answer in there for you. Maybe there is a message. Maybe there's something that can help you in your life. And he grew, and his team, the band, grew a very lucrative, prosperous business by him getting out of his head and getting out of his heart and opening his heart. They grew a very lucrative business. So definitely, definitely look at this movie. Take a look at it. If you haven't heard Mercy Me, take a look at what's going on with the labels and what music they're putting out. Like I said, listen to an older one and listen to a newer one. Okay? Okay. Thank you so much for joining us here today, and I hope this helps you. If not, you know what? It doesn't hurt to watch a nice movie, okay? Okay, guys, thank you so much. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.